while walking through the office to pick up a print, you suddenly see a Monet's sunrise, and it suddenly puts a little pep in your step. You know, art brightens our day, and you know, most of us, we don't look at the artist behind the actual work itself. And today we are actually going to speak with an artist of Brookline and talk to her about her work and her work in the community. Our guest today is Deanna Christo. Welcome.
Thank you, Una. I'm delighted to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So we'll start off with your inspiration. What inspires you to become a photographer?
Well, I draw most of my inspiration from nature. That's where I found my first subjects. The variety is infinite. There are so many different colors and shapes and textures and patterns that I find in nature. And living in New England, of course, you can add into that the changing of the seasons. And even as a day goes through its different stages, how the light changes affects how I see things. So that's really where most of my inspiration comes from.
Yeah, in New England, you have a whole variety to choose from.
Absolutely.
All the seasons. And how old were you when you started taking photographs?
I was in my late 50s, middle to late 50s when I started.
Great. And the subjects that you like to photograph most are nature, you said, creatures.
Yeah.
You've traveled a lot.
Right. I especially like flowers and plants, and I have some creatures as well, and they're a little bit harder because they don't necessarily sit still for very long. So I need a lot of patience trying to photograph those subjects, but it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how does photography fit into your life in terms of having a career?
Well, I was a teacher in the Boston public school system for 34 years, and I retired. And so photography is becoming my second career.
What did you teach?
I taught French and then Spanish.
Oh, wow. Can you speak them fluently?
Pretty much, yep.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I wish I could
it's
do that.
fun.
So do you feel that you were inspired to create art by your father, who was a painter?
Yes, my dad was Nathan Credencer, and he had a studio right at Coolidge Corner for many, many years. And I used to go visit him in his studio when he was working after school. And I loved to watch him work. And he just enjoyed doing it so much. It was really nice to see somebody have a job that he enjoyed doing so much. And his work is wonderful. And my sister is also an artist. My dad went to Mass School of Art before it became Mass College of Art, and my sister went to Mass College of Art, and she lives out in California. And she exhibits her paintings as well and teaches.
Did your dad paint people or nature?
Well, he did murals and portraits mostly, and some of his murals, of course, did include nature. One of the things in his early work, he used to work with decorators and do murals in people's homes before he became more well-known and did commercial murals.
Oh, wow.
And one of the subjects he painted a lot was wisteria. So I have a special fondness for that, and I have quite a few photographs in my website of wisteria.
I've seen them. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And you have photographs that are placed in various parts of Brookline. And did somebody approach you about using the art, or are you using it as a promotional tool for yourself?
No, I went out and found the places that I've exhibited myself. I've exhibited in a couple of restaurants, Striptease in Watertown and the Center Street Cafe in Jamaica Plain. And I had an exhibit in the Coolidge Corner branch of the Brookline Public Library. And that was, that really meant a lot to me. My sister and I donated one of my father's works after he passed away to the library, and it's a portrait of John F. Kennedy. And they decided to hang it in the Coolidge Corner branch, because that's where Kennedy actually had his very first library card, when he lived over on Beale Street.
Oh, no way.
And it was just so special to me that my photographs were hanging in the same place that this portrait done by my father was hanging, because before I started photography especially, I never would have imagined anything like that happening. So that was really exciting for me.
That's like a legacy just in one building.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I
Good
really
stuff.
liked that.
That's so great. So, and what kind of camera do you use?
I use a digital camera, a Sony,
Mhm.
and I'm going to, it's oh, I can't remember the name, sorry.
Oh, no.
And I am going to be moving up to a digital SLR, which is a more sophisticated camera. I have one pretty much ordered, so I'm very excited about that.
It's very cool. When are you going to get it? Soon?
Maybe today evening.
Really?
I don't know.
Good stuff, yeah. Excellent. And do you prefer working with film over digital, or do you have do you see the benefits of
most
either?
of all of the photographs on my website have been done with a digital camera, and I just like the freedom. I don't have to worry about how much the film costs, or if I have enough film with me, or with digital I can take as many pictures as I like of the same subject and not feel like I'm overdoing it.
The delete button's always helpful.
Yes.
For the memory card.
Very familiar with that one.
Yes. And so, how do you think growing up in Brookline has influenced your work?
Well, I think because it's so close to Boston, obviously there are just so many opportunities to observe different types of artwork, and so many museums and places where people display work. But in Brookline itself, I just love, most of my photographs have been taken in Brookline.
Mm-hmm.
And just walking around the streets and going to the different parks, and there are a lot of lovely areas to photograph.
It all inspires you. The swans, for instance.
Right.
For the folks at home, if you go to our website, DeannaLMC.com, you can see all these pictures that we're talking about today. The Rose Garden and the swans are one of my favorites. And
thanks. Right, and the ones that I have in the town hall right now
Mhm.
are in the Images of Brookline exhibit, are 3 different spots in Brookline that town residents might be familiar with. One is of the arbor in the Rose Garden
Mhm.
at St. Paul and Brown Street, and one is of the Brookline Reservoir, and one is of this absolutely spectacular wisteria that's on the corner of Chestnut and Kendall Streets.
Yes, yes. And those photos are on display until May 12th in the town hall themselves. So go check it out. And yeah, I think you also have another exhibit in the West Roxbury branch of the Brookline Bank that will be going through mid-June about as well.
Uh-huh. And that's
So.
On Center Street, right in front
Yes.
of the Roach Brothers Supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thank you for stopping by to talk with me and After Dark. We appreciate you coming by and talking about your work.
I appreciate
you.
the opportunity to do so.
And good luck with everything and with your career in photography and your travels. So
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. And
For me as well.
and so please check out Deanna's website at www.deannalmc.com and check out her work. Okay. Thank you.